Let's just bring him in since he was on time, and we probably woke him up to do this in time, even though it's noontime in Cincinnati, Ohio, where he joins us. One of my favorite humans on the planet, Michael K. Good to see you, Michael. How are you, brother?
Good to see you, Rich, and happy birthday.
Thanks,
and
pal.
also,
yes,
thank you for the slate, the picture that, going into break. It was about 20 years ago.
I was about to say, that's where I first met you. I might have taken this picture, Michael.
I love it. I love it. Let's keep it there.
I might have taken you that picture of you, the night before I showed up in your famed Christmas party. That guy right there. I know that
Look
guy.
Look at him. I don't know him anymore.
That guy changed into his street clothes. We went to Blondie's. We had a few beers. That's the guy I knew in the late 90s. That guy right there.
And Blondie's is still there, so we can relive that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Dude, I just love listening to you with O'Neill and with Cohn from certainly back in the day. I'm enjoying you with Girardi now. I think he's coming into his own as a broadcaster too. Just last night, just you and O'Neill chomping up his days. Where was he? Guys, they had a conversation about where was O'Neill when Dibble was fighting with Lou Piniella in the clubhouse.
Whoa. Okay.
And you want to reveal where he said he was? Michael?
He was in the shower, and Chris Sabo came running into the shower and said, "You got to see this." And O'Neill ran out completely naked. And when we showed the video, he was nervous that we'd see him naked, but they didn't catch that.
Could you imagine if that happened today, Michael? Could you imagine if a manager and his flame-throwing reliever were just wrestling in the middle of the clubhouse with cameras and people around there? Could you imagine?
I can't even imagine if it happened in New York when it happened. So the fact that it was in Cincinnati, I think probably downplayed it a little bit. But that's just I look at some things that happened in the past and go, how would they explode? Like Mike Kekich and Fritz Peterson switching families. Even today, that would be outrageous.
That's right. Michael K. here on the Rich Eisen Show, joining us from Cincinnati, Ohio, where he's on the road with the New York Yankees. And, of course, Michael covers all New York sports for his radio show that's on the air every single day as well. Good to see you, Michael. Thanks for doing this today, sir.
Great to see you.
You got it, man. Right back at you. Why are the Yankees slumping over the last couple weeks after what we saw from the first 2 months, Michael?
It comes down to hitting. Everybody has gone into a collective slump. At the beginning of this fallow period, even Judge went into a slump, which was normal. I mean, there had to be a market correction. It was going to be very unlikely for him to hit 400, as great as he is, because he doesn't have the speed to get those infield hits to keep the average up. But, if he hits 350, it would still be otherworldly. But everybody else followed suit. Nobody was really hitting. Paul Goldschmidt's come back down to earth just a bit. Cody Bellinger, has been hitting. So that's kept them a little bit afloat. But they don't get enough. Base hits with runners in scoring position. And then you saw last night, Rich, they can't win in extra innings on the road. They just can't. That's not hyperbole. I wrote this down. In extra innings on the road, since the rule came into play of the Manfred Man, they're 13-27. And that is the worst record in all of baseball. This is a good baseball team that's 13-27. And I think what it comes down to, when you watched the game last night, they don't know how to play little ball. They just completely always try to hit home runs. So that runner remains at second. And you have a lot of empty calorie outs, I call them, and they don't move that runner to third, and you never get that runner in. That's why they lose road games.
And then it just seems that the team continuously has trouble pitching to the opponent's best hitter. I mean, we could go down the list of all the Houston Astros that have torched the Yankees throughout their tenure of the championship window. I'm part of the Yankee fandom that was thrilled to see Rafael Devers go to a National League team that the Yankees have already played this year, so they don't have to see him again. And Ellie De La Cruz is just another one. It's just like, hey, do you not know that this is the guy that you can't let beat you? And he beat the Yankees single-handedly on Monday night. And last night had a role in it as well, Michael. It just seems to be an issue with this team.
Well, I guess what you're doing, if I may say, is probably looking at things through pinstripe glasses, because nobody knows how to get out Judge either. If I'm an opposing manager, I would never pitch to Judge. What's happening with the Yankees right now, where they're playing this poorly, I think they're 4-9 in the last 13 games. It's really not on the pitching at all. The pitching has done the job that they're expected to do, especially with the loss of Cole and Heel. But I think what we're seeing now, Rich, is that the bullpen is starting to get exhausted, and we're seeing that across town with the Mets as well. I've always thought this. I understand the analytics, and they work. But holding pitchers to 100 pitches, I don't think it's sustainable over the long haul. You are going to burn out bullpens. You just are. You have to use 4 relievers almost every single night because you have 5 innings out of your starter. And I think that's what happened yesterday. The Yankees have lost a lot of games when leading after 7 innings. They have 5 losses when leading by multiple runs at the top of the 7th inning. That's from Katie Sharp. That's not good. And I think that comes through the fact that the starters don't give them length. And it's not just Yankee starters. It's all over the game. And what stunned me yesterday, and we mentioned it when it happened, Carlos Rodon was great yesterday. And all of a sudden he doesn't come out for the 7th inning. And everybody wants to jump on Boone. Why did Boone do that? You look on social media and they want to kill Aaron Boone. Carlos Rodon said he couldn't go anymore, that it was hot out and he was exhausted. This is how pitchers are trained now. So I just don't know if baseball has to rethink this.
Michael Kay here on the Rich Eisen Show, host of the Michael Kay Show, as well as obviously the announcer for the New York Yankees. I'm wondering how many of the 30 teams you've seen this year. It's a lot of them now with this new schedule. Who's the best team that you've seen? Again, I know the Giants were early on in April, so you were able to at least see them, obviously pre-Devers as well. Which is the best team that you've seen with your own 2 eyes so far this year, Michael?
Well, unfortunately, I saw these games on TV because national rights carriers took all the Yankee-Dodger games. The Dodgers are obviously great. And, Detroit is a really good team. The first team to 50 wins this year of any team in baseball. I think they're a terrific ball club as well. The Rays didn't impress me, but they weren't playing well when the Yankees saw them. The Yankees took 3 out of 4 in Tampa Bay. The Red Sox took 5 out of 6 from the Yankees, but they didn't impress me either. So I think the Yankees' road to the World Series, I think, has to go through Detroit. And Detroit's one of these teams. They're very analytical, but they also play the game the right way. They run the bases aggressively. They run to first base hard. They make the plays defensively as well. And they have really good starting pitching. So I think that they could be a little bit of a problem in any postseason series for any team.
Who are you hearing that could be in play a trade deadline? And not just for the Yankees, but again, I'm sure you're hearing quite a bit, maybe through the prism of the Yankees, as to who might be available. Who are you already hearing about the trade deadline?
You're not really hearing anybody, Rich, because I think 17 out of the 30 teams are over 500. Very few teams have completely eliminated themselves from that third and final wild card in either league. So we don't know who's going to shake loose. I mean, if the Diamondbacks decide to sell, they've got a lot of people that you would want, starting with their third baseman, Eugenio Suarez. So again, you have to wait for teams to drop out of it. The Rockies are not going to make a run, but they have never shown any inclination to trade any of their players. It would be a smart move for them to probably trade McMahon, but the ownership likes McMahon. So I don't know if there's anybody out there that you could say is available right now, because all of these big deals, Rich, I find they're done in the darkness. Did anybody think that Rafael Devers was going to be traded?
Crazy.
And all of a sudden he was traded. So I don't think it's really played itself out yet until we know if a team declares they're in the playoffs or not.
Michael Kay here on the Rich Eisen Show. Do you have any of the Yankees-Mets Subway Series Part 2 games on your slate?
Yeah, we do. Okay. Amazingly, ESPN decided not to take Sunday.
Okay.
And Friday we have it. I think we also might have Saturday. I don't know if that's a Fox game yet.
Okay. So what do you think about the Mets' chances, seeing what you've seen, and now Soto's finally getting acclimated, it appears? What do you think about that, Michael?
I was never worried about Soto on the long haul. When the Yankees faced the Mets, the Yankees took 2 out of 3, and Soto, I know Met fans have a deep-seated hatred for me, Rich.
Yes, sir.
Because I said that weekend, Yankee people and Met people were remarking to me that he was so down. He was just glum. He wasn't happy at all. And I reported that, and people just jumped me, Yankee boy, you're just jealous he didn't come to the Yankees. And I just think that Soto realized what he gave up. But it was going to take time, and he finally acclimated himself to a good situation with the Mets, and he's starting to hit because he's one of the greatest hitters you'll ever see. But I think that they're having problems now. Their run of great luck with their starting pitching seems to have run out. They, as the Yankees have also overused their bullpen an unbelievable amount. And, they imploded again yesterday. They blew a 3-0 lead to the Braves. The Braves have won all 5 games they played the Mets in the last 10 days. So the Mets have a tough team that they're dealing with in the East, and that's the Phillies. And the Mets single-handedly are keeping the Braves in the pennant chase. But I still think the Mets are too good not to make the playoffs. But obviously, they would love to win the division, because I don't think you want to play a wild card and then have your season end in 3 games. So I think the Mets' imperative is it's imperative that they win the East.
And of course, you do have the Dodgers sitting there.
Yep.
At the end of the day, and they'll add somebody at the trade deadline or something like that and get stronger. But that's obviously for next month. Michael Kay here on the Rich Eisen Show. Can you confirm that the Knicks reached out to you to coach? But
they did. They did, but both Yes and ESPN refused them permission.
Denied permission.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully,
denied.
Well, hopefully you'll be like, potentially Billy Donovan or Udoka and use that as a cudgel to get a long-term contract out of your current employer. Hopefully that'll work out for you, Michael.
Well, I just heard that Leon Rose also reached out to Brian Cashman to talk to Boone, and that was also rebuffed. Yeah.
What's going on, man? What is happening, Michael?
I still think, Rich, you're going to laugh. I still think my favorite would be Jason Kidd, because they reached out to the Mavericks. Mavericks said no, but Jason Kidd has not gotten any extension. And Jason has shown an inclination in the past. If he doesn't want to be someplace, he could get out of it. Now, I don't know why I'd want to get out of Dallas, because that looks like it's going to be a pretty good situation when they draft Cooper Flagg tonight, and when Kyrie Irving finally gets back either in January, February of next year. So maybe they do extend him. But there doesn't seem to be any urgency whatsoever. And what the Knicks did, though, in getting rid of Thibodeau, I don't understand it, Rich, for this reason. He took the Pacers to 6 games. And just because Vegas made the Knicks heavy favorites look like they got upset. Well, they didn't get upset. The Pacers were really good and took the best team in the NBA to 7 games. I think Thibodeau did a great job. And the fact that they felt that they couldn't take the next step with him, I think is folly, because what's happened now with the injury to Halliburton, with the trades that the Celtics are making, with the injury that to Damian Lillard, the Knicks have a clear path to get to the finals. So whoever the Knicks bring in now has a lot of pressure to actually get to the next level, because you're going to be compared to Thibodeau. I don't understand, and no New York writer at this point, and they're all really good at this, have come up with the real reason why Thibodeau was fired. I don't know if players spoke against him. We know that Jalen Brunson loves him, and he's the most important player on the team. So I'm not quite sure why he was let go, and it's going to be very intriguing to see who they select as the next guy moving forward.
Right, because making a splash to essentially say, see, this is what we were doing this for. And instead, right. The analogy I made it is heaven forbid, at some point, Susie and I decide to go our separate ways. My first choice would be to knock on Scarlett Johansson's door and ask Colin Jost for permission. You know what I mean? Because
right.
She's into handsome guys from Staten Island. That just sounds like that's what the Knicks' plan was, to just start knocking on the doors of people who were not available.
Well, I guess you could dream.
Thank you.
Like if Jody left me,
right,
I'd be a little smarter than you. I would not go to somebody who's tethered to somebody else. I'd go to Sydney Sweeney, who's very, very free, and then I'd make my pitch there.
You want to workshop that pitch right now, Michael, or that's for another day? What do you want to?
No, I can workshop it right now if you'd like.
Sure. So what do you think it would go like?
Sydney,
Michael?
Listen, I know I'm a lot older than you, but I've made a pretty good living in my career. I'm not going to be around that long. You're going to get all that money at some point. And that would be the pitch.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Kay. Would you have to explain to Paul O'Neill who Sydney Sweeney is?
Oh, I believe he's very well aware of Sydney Sweeney, yes. And I know David Cohn's probably very, very well aware.
Notice I chose someone other than Cohn to ask that question.
It's a good question about O'Neill, since, he's been with his wife, Rich, literally, since they were 5 years old.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. And by the way, is that why he's in Ohio? Because he doesn't usually travel much. He just likes going to Cincinnati, or what?
Well, his mom is 98 and she still lives here.
There you go.
And Neville's mom is in her 90s and she still lives here.
There you go.
And the O'Neills still keep a home here, so they do come back and to visit the moms all the time. They mostly live in Florida, but yeah, he's a home team. He only wears the pinstripes. He doesn't really do road grays much.
Yeah, I know. He's kind of like, is he a modern day Rizzuto? Right? He just doesn't go home, in the seventh inning to beat the GWB traffic. I mean,
Rich,
I don't know.
I always tell people that he is our modern day Rizzuto.
Is that right?
He says whatever he wants on the air.
Holy cow!
I think Paul's a very entertaining,
me too,
illuminating broadcaster. I really do think he does a great job.
Yeah, you do a great job with him. Before I let you go, let's do some sports talk radio fodder.
All right,
because it is June. If Aaron Judge never played another game, is he a Hall of Famer, Michael?
Well, this is his 10th year, so he'd be eligible. Yes, I believe he'd be a Hall of Famer.
Okay. So if he just decided, you know what, don't want to do it anymore, what he has already done would be making he would be eligible for the Hall of Fame, you would think.
I believe so, with 2 MVPs, 52 home run season, 58 home run season, 62 home run season. Some would say he should have had a 3rd MVP. Yeah, I think he certainly made a pretty good case to be in the Hall of Fame.
All right, and let's just remove the fact that you got to have 10 years. What about Ohtani? Would he be a Hall of Famer?
Hall of Famer.
He would be.
Hands down.
So? Hands down.
Oh, my God.
Right? I mean, just because
the 3 MVPs?
And the eye test, right? You've never seen anybody like him at this point.
No, he's a unicorn. He's Major League Baseball is very lucky to have him.
Did you see the other day when he got hit after Tatis got hit for the umpteenth time in that series, and he just waves his guys back like, I'm all right. Let's not do this. It's
like he's above all the nonsense. He really is. He's a very special player.
I agree. And but Judge is right there with him, correct? Just in terms of what you've seen. I mean, you've seen them all, Michael. You've seen them all.
Well, if Ohtani doesn't pitch, I think Judge is better than Ohtani. I think he's a better player because Ohtani doesn't play the field. But when Ohtani pitches and hits, then he's the better player because he can do more things.
Pretty much. Okay. Thank you for the time, Michael. I appreciate it. We'll be watching tonight. Wait, you're
going to be watching the Yankees tonight on your birthday. Shouldn't you be going out with Susie somewhere?
Yesterday was my birthday. We went out last night. Yeah, that was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
It's all good. No, yeah. And I watched the game. I watched them tie it at 3-3 before I left the house.
Ruin your birthday.
You're on all. Yes, they did. Are they aware of that?
I'll tell Aaron today.
Will you tell him that, man? So
I had it written down on my phone that today's your birthday. I'm very angry at myself.
Just be angry at your phone. Blame your phone. Blame the technology. You know what I mean?
No, the phone's smarter than me.
Okay, I know. You're the man. Thanks for the time, Michael.
Of course. Be well.
Right back at you. The great Michael Kay on the S Network and, of course, the ESPN family of networks as well. Radio, television. Michael Kay right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Good to have him here on the program. Catch The Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.